there are a lot of big ports on the west coast of the United States. You got San Diego, Long Beach, LA, San Francisco, Oakland, Portland, Seattle, probably some other ones I'm not thinking off the top of my head. But I mean, you can route to any of these ports and potentially truck it back down to your 3PL, wherever that might be, and or just send it into a different Amazon warehouse, which is what we've been doing quite a bit. You know, sending it up to Portland instead of LA, and then instead of going to Ontario 8, which we're so familiar with, it's going to some warehouse up in Portland area or Oakland. I don't know exactly where it ends up at, but there's just tons of options that become available. Also, we've noticed the same thing in China. Like, instead of coming out of the port of Wuhan, which is a particularly difficult port for us to get out of, you send it down the river to Ningbo or Shanghai, and your options open up quite a bit. So what are some things that you're seeing in this regard? I mean, again, you get way more data points than I do in terms of opening up your options and what that can do for you in terms of transit times, availability of containers, and costs.
Yeah, perfect. So you kind of covered quite a bit here, but yeah, definitely consider different options. Just work with your forwarders, right? So ask open-ended questions, maybe like versus like your typical routing. Maybe you're shipping from like a main port in China to LA all the time. Well, you've been doing that for years, right? But now, you do have to research, ask your forwarders for options. Ask like what are the kind of are you seeing any better transit times from different ports that are nearby? So some of the just a specific example on this, right? So in China, so for one of our clients, we've I've been seeing rates out of Port of Fuzhou at about like 20K, and then there's another port of Xiamen that's nearby. But you have to truck it there for like a little. You just overpay on trucking, just about like $200-$300. But then that allows you to save about $2,600 on ocean freight, because that port is just has lesser, a lower rate and just less congested. So another thing, so for those who are maybe shipping to Europe. Right? If Europe, is a big part of your business, that's going to be applicable. So we sometimes forget that Europe is and China is on the same continent, right? So there are options to actually truck it all the way from China to Europe, including UK. Right, so that is an expensive option, but with current ocean rates, it's close to what we're paying in ocean, right? So we've seen rates at about like 30K per truck, which is again like not too far from what we're paying on container, and the transit times are much faster. You do have control and can today you can track GPS track your driver
where your truck
all the way.
It's interesting that a truck is faster than going by sea, huh? I would have guessed insane. Otherwise, but I guess it kind of does make sense, but it's not that much more of a direct route because of the Suez Canal. I mean, you're kind of going, if you're going into southern Europe, I would think that on a boat would be quicker, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I also just kind of envision the road infrastructure between China and Europe to not be great through a lot of those countries, but maybe it's better than I thought it was.
Yeah, it actually goes from China. So the common route would be via Kazakhstan, like via Soviet countries, like Kazakhstan, like former Soviet countries, right. Kazakhstan, Russia, and then through Belarus into Europe, just up from north.
Gotcha. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And there's not like. I mean, I guess this is common, so like they're used to clearing things through the borders like relatively easily, and they just don't put up much of a fight there.
The Kazakhstan, Russia, Belarus, it's like one customs zone, but so you could just enter and you don't, you just go through it. But then, once you get Europe, you have to be cleared, but that's it. You clear it once, and then you're
right. Once you're in the EU, you're in the EU, or that Shenzhen zone, or whatever they call that. Cool, interesting, very cool. So, any other thoughts on that? I know I kind of ruin your thunder a little bit. I started talking about it and got excited because it's something we found on our own, just through trial and error as well. Which it's cool to share that tip because it really can matter. You just get stuck. I mean, we've been doing this for 8 years, and so it's just like we always ship from Shanghai to Port of LA or Long Beach or whatever, and it's just like we kind of figured that out 5, 6, 7 years ago, and it's just like let's keep doing that same thing. It was the cheapest route at the time. It was the fastest transit time at the time. It goes into Ontario 8 Amazon, which clears, gets checked in and everything the quickest there as well. But things have changed, and so it makes sense, like you said, to pay to truck it intra-China, which is significantly cheaper, per kilometer than it would be in the United States to go at equal distance. And so it opens up your options of different ports. Xiamen's an interesting one. I haven't tried that one, but that's like in southeastern China. So if you got stuff coming out of maybe out of Shenzhen or something, or Guangzhou, maybe that's an option to get it over to there. And then again, open up all your options to the western United States. I mean, Seattle's been working well for us, in Oakland particularly, just in the last few weeks.
Yeah, totally. I mean, in terms of routing, one additional area to audit, in a sense, right, would be location of your 3PL, right? So we we do definitely see some sellers kind of get complacent with their 3PL provider. We've even seen things like, say, a seller is from a particular state or whatnot that's inland, and they just like no warehouse there, get a contract and just keep using them. So definitely you wanna with your 3PL location and just overall like 3PL procurement and choice of a contractor, you wanna definitely stay close to ports. Right, and also consider warehouses that have multiple locations. Ideally, it should be like a bi-coastal provider, right? Yep. So like one contractor with multiple locations, so you can again like be very flexible. So I'd say if there's some like just major issue keeps happening on the West Coast, like, and maybe not only Port of LA but all the other ports are congested, you want to have the flexibility to send it to the East Coast. Like even understood that transit times to East Coast are longer. But if LA is like so congested, you can at least consider it, right?
Yep.
And then and then with the 3PLs, another thing I would just add there would be just consider where it's located. Look for locations that are kind of close enough to the ports. But then also with the 3PL, there's a separate issue that LA area is just definitely the market is very tight, right? So there's like lack of space in the 3PLs. So you want to consider going to like nearby kind of Western 11 sort of states, right? So like Arizona, Nevada, good options. So it's like generally like cheaper warehouses there and more space. Although you do have to pay a little extra for trucking again.
Yeah, I mean, we're in Nevada now in Las Vegas, and so it's a 4 or 5 hour drive from Port of LA up here. North Las Vegas in particular, I mean, like a lot of real estate developers, and including Amazon, not necessarily real estate developer side, but just in terms of warehousing, have realized that this is a way better location than a lot of Southern California, just because it's a more business-friendly climate, labor's cheaper here, land's cheaper here. There's plenty of desert on the north side of Las Vegas. It's right off of major interstate, still near major cargo hubs. Air cargo hubs and stuff. So I think a lot of 3PLs are going to start heading this way. It also, from another argument, can reduce your exposure from a nexus standpoint. Nevada is way less aggressive with this, and again, more business friendly. And so, depending on who you talk to and what day, your 3PL may or may not create nexus for you. It's still kind of up for debate, but certainly another great option is looking here.
Yeah, definitely. I guess like to also add to on the subject, just like managing your routings, right? So one kind of additional subject there is like there are ways to also manage your Amazon destinations, right? So depending on what your product is, like you may be lucky and Amazon just allows you to ship, close to the origin point that you're choosing in the United States, right?
Yep.
But for many sellers, that's not the case. For many sellers, Amazon makes you split the shipments or ship across the country, and that can mean added thousands of dollars just for that, right?
Yep.
There are some ways to manage it. So I've kind of historically used a few different tools. So we've used Seller Chain tool, currently utilizing Shipment Maker Pro tool that allows you to do a few things. I mean, it also, I have to point out, it doesn't work for every business, so you have to test it out, right? Make sure the software works for your products. But kind of when it does, it kind of create it seems like magic, right? So you can literally consolidate these shipments into one and choose an FC destination. It actually also gives you now some good data that on a per FC level. So because there's also an issue in terms of FC processing. So some FCs process your shipments longer, right? And so historically we've been trying to just do it kind of from experience, and just if you're sending shipments to one location, you see them get stuck, we try another one, right? The Shipment Maker Pro, it actually allows you to see the processing times, the max and minimum processing times per Amazon FC. Which is kind of cool. I didn't know that they were doing it until very recently.
Yeah, and the disparity between this is kind of crazy. I mean, we ship some stuff down to Texas, I think a Houston fulfillment center from some of our other products that come not from China. And holy crap, man! First off, I thought the stuff was lost because it was taking so long. I was like, okay, well, we need to ship more, which we did. We shipped another whole batch of product because we just thought that it was a lost cause, and we'd be arguing with Amazon for the next 6 months in terms of. Is this stuff gone forever? Are we going to get reimbursed? And then lo and behold, they finally checked it in and got in there. So we're talking 5-6 weeks at this particular center. And so I mean, it's definitely something to be keeping in mind. Also, probably don't hit the panic button too quickly because it's probably somewhere on their lot, and who knows when they might get around to checking it in. Because I mean, just Amazon's struggling. They're busting at the seams right now, and some of these centers, they just don't have enough manpower to get the stuff in there.
Yeah, and it's definitely gonna get bad in Q4. So that's when we see it happening the most, right after it kind of loosens up.
Yeah, so definitely check out shipmentmakerpro.com. I've seen a lot of people in the MDS group, $1 Million Sellers, talk about this. Just beware, there has been some chatter recently that Amazon is going to kind of clamp down on this a little bit because they're realizing that this is happening now, and obviously it costs them money to move the inventory around. So they have sent out some communications as of the last week, just kind of warning people about this. So my recommendation is to check it out and use it as a limited thing. If you just do it a couple times here and there, especially now that it's Q4 and the costs are just going absolutely berserk, to do it on your most expensive, most complicated shipments and the things that Amazon's kicking back at you that are making them not go to one warehouse depending on what it is that you sell. It's a great thing to at least check out and know about. We certainly have. So shipmentmakerpro.com.